The final moments of activist Andries Tatane were caught on camera by SABC News. The 33-year-old Tatane was among of about 4,000 protesters who marched to the Setsoto municipal offices. They demanded answers from the municipality after they had handed over a memorandum of grievances a week earlier. The march was spearheaded by the Meqheleng Concerned Citizens Group. Among other problems, the area had been battling chronic water shortages for years. Chaos erupted when residents demanded keys to take control of the troubled municipality. The events took a turn for the worse when public order police, armed with water cannons, batons and rubber bullets, challenged the already agitated demonstrators. Police moved forward from the municipal building and fired rubber bullets. The unarmed Tatane was severely beaten with batons and shot at with rubber bullets. According to the charge sheet, one of the rubber bullets was fired directly at his chest and penetrated his chest cavity. The next day, residents went on the rampage and burnt down offices of the Departments of Home Affairs and Public Works and a library. To this day, their concerns remain largely unresolved.
Many issues have not yet been addressed. For an example, the very past weekend, Easter weekend, in some of our areas here, we are not having water. The one that I would say killed one of our youth here, Andries Tatane. So personally, I'm not really very impressed. I'm totally, no, I can say there's nothing that is actually, things have gone from bad to worse. That's what I can say.
The municipality's financial health is deteriorating. It collects much less than it spends. Several capital projects have stalled due to lack of funds.
The same problem that he spoke about, that he died for in 2011. We're talking about it, it's worse today because sewers are overflowing all over the place. Kids have died. You have small children who've died because they have to walk back from school to home, and they get swept away by, your stormwater during rain season and all that. Things have worsened.
The problem of water shortage has been compounded by aging municipal infrastructure.
The service is poor in Ficksburg. We don't have water. When the water comes out, it comes with worms and it's got a bad smell. And also the road is bad.
Our big problem here in Meqheleng is water shortage. Sometimes the water is dirty and taps would run dry for long. It has been raining, but still there's no water. Our taps are dry. We can't even use our toilets in the house.
Government says it has devised plans to mitigate the ongoing crisis.
Their biggest challenge is the water loss, which is attributed to aging infrastructure, but also as a result of a flat rate payment, people don't fix leakages in their yards and in their taps. So there's a project now they want to undertake of war on leakage.
According to the Auditor General, the Setsoto municipality has failed to prioritize the maintenance of assets. This has led to the municipality incurring more than 24 million rand of water and electricity losses. The massive losses resulted from burst pipes, tampering and theft. Aphumelele Mdlalane, SABC News, Ficksburg.
Now let's get the latest. We're joined by Aphumelele Mdlalane, who joins us from Ficksburg. A very good morning to you, Aphumelele. It's so incredulous, just based on the story you just gave us, that all these years down the line, the place where Andries Tatane used to live is still not well serviced by the municipality.
A Indeed, Desiree, those visuals that you saw, we were here last week where we also visited the family of Andries Tatane. Of course, they are not happy with the situation. They are still mourning until today. They're saying that Andries Tatane's death was in vain because nothing has changed at this municipality in terms of service delivery. Instead, what they describe is that the situation has gone from bad to worse. As I'm talking to you right now, Desiree, there is no water in some parts of the areas here in Ficksburg. We must remember that this was one of the major concerns that they were, of course, protesting about. Talking about 4,000, of course, protesters who marched to this very same municipality, Setsoto municipality. I am not standing far from where Andries Tatane, of course, died during the scuffles, during the protests, but I just want to bring the voices of the community now. I'm joined by the activist of this community here in Setsoto. Thank you so much, Mama, for your time. Take us through to what has been happening here in terms of services.
Thank you so much. Let's go back to that day and understand what had brought that march about. Mainly, if you try to understand the character of Andries Tatane, is that he was all about young people. He wanted the future of young people to be in good hands, that they needed to, that young people needed to build their future very well. So he used to be a tutor. He was working with education. And even if you look at the, who are these, the organizers of that march, they were mostly educators. Now let's look at where we are today. I understand that we are talking about water, we are talking about roads, we are talking about that. But let's talk about the human capital of it all. Today, at that time, we didn't have a drug problem as such amongst young people. Today we have an epidemic. Young men, young kids from high school to the ages where they're supposed to be at university are using drugs. Little girls are giving birth at hospital at an alarming rate. And you ask yourself, who's in charge? Who's making decisions for this future generation? It's people my age, people in their 50s and their 60s who are looking at their pension funds. That is their main focus. You look at, in 2014, I hope we'll be able to see that place. Maluti FET College applied to Setsoto municipality for space for them to establish a campus in this place. Council passed a resolution to approve that proposal. We have an old, we call it Ambach, it's an old trade school here, where beautiful structures of sandstone were built, but when you look at what it is today, it's run down, roofs are off. And why? Because that building has been allocated to an ANC member, who is also a chief whip in the district of Tabamufutanyana, ANC chief whip. And that person was part of that march of that day. Which brings me to the real problem that we have here. I mean, the problem of service delivery is countrywide. It is not unique to Ficksburg. But what the ANC has done very well in this area is to do two things. Divide us as a community. We have to have two groups at a minimum that are fighting against each other. And if we join hands, if we find a way to each other, to start talking to each other, they find us something to focus on. By saying that, this is what I want to say. Before, it was a racial issue where black people have problems with white people, as it is throughout the country.
But have you tried addressing these issues? I understand that you're talking about the municipality, yes, and their failure. As an activist, have you tried to say, let's sit down and resolve what is happening at the Setsoto municipality?
Many times. We have written letters, we have called them to meetings. Last week we had a meeting with it's last week or previous week. We had a meeting with the municipality to talk about just the state of our roads, state of our streets and all that, where tar has been taken off, and the revamping of the roads is stuck since last year, I don't know, maybe June or so. When you listen to their problems as to all their challenges, it is the same challenges that were brought up back in 2011 of saying you employ unqualified people within the municipality. The skilled people are outside the municipality. You even go and get people who are from outside this locality to come and run services here. And they don't understand anything about our climate. They don't understand anything about our weather conditions and all that. The real problem of why this road hasn't been paved since last year is because rainy season hit when the tower was supposed to be, when the surfacing was supposed to happen after preparation. The rain hit, the town.
Let's talk about the issue of police. You did also mention that there's somehow a bad treatment you are getting from police.
Yeah. If you look at the clip of that day, what do you see Tatane doing, Andries Tatane? You see him talking to the police and asking them, what are you doing? Why are you fighting our people? What are you doing? And that's what he got attacked for just asking what it is that you are doing. We had a march last month on R26, a protest rather, where the entire community blocked R26 in protest of what deaths that are happening on R26. So now that didn't have an incident. Why? Because people did not listen to the police. They did not listen to the police. So when we listen to the police, violence starts. When we don't listen to the police, there is progress.
All right, that is Silwane Lipoi, an activist here. She's mentioning that they've tried so many times to be in consultation with all the stakeholders of this municipality. She still explains that there's still issues of poor service delivery here, and there's also poor of communication, and saying that of course this needs everyone to be on the drawing board and try to make sure that as a way forward they at least continue with the legacy of Andries Tatane to make sure that they improve service delivery issues here. And also we know that he was so fond of maths and science. He used it to be a tutor for matriculants from this municipality, but that is not happening now. So those are just some of the issues that people from this municipality are still complaining about. We talked to the government, cooperative governance, MEC Tembeni Ngangisa, where he also explained that the issue of water at this municipality is caused by aging infrastructure. But they are saying that, of course, their plans are in place to make sure that they improve that, and also they are in talks of building a dam that will be assisting the existing dam in terms of providing water to the residents. We will be moving from this place to the location just to show you the plight of the residents from this municipality. Desiree.
Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed, Aphumelele, there with our story of the day, which also incorporates our question of the day.